Well, we're back working on track plans, and last week, if you recall, we introduced the idea of using CAD programs, computer-aided design programs, for designing your layout. And we looked at this railroad here, Jeffrey's layout, and he's designed the whole thing with a CAD program, and that's just so slick. At Garage Mahal for the indoor-outdoor railroad, kind of done the same thing. I use Adobe Illustrator. It's not really intended to be a CAD program for designing railroads, but it does function quite well as a CAD program. And this is the area that I'm currently working on. It's also the last gap between the inside part of the railroad and the outside part of the railroad. Just the yard lead here that goes around the turntable is the only missing piece of track. Once that's laid, then trains will be able to go all the way from one end of the railroad to the other end of the railroad. And so possibly a gold spike ceremony needs to be had. Now you'll notice that all of my curves have these little tails on them, and that's because in the Adobe Illustrator I've drawn up a bunch of 90-degree curves at the tightest radius that I'm using, which is 1600 millimeters. Which is to say just over 5 feet. All of my equipment will go through that radius of curve, and then I can lay those in and just let the tail hang out like that because they're all 90-degree curves and I don't always need 90 degrees. So at some point I can chop those off, but while I'm working on it I just leave the little tail on there. This is just a really rough sketch, if you will, computer sketch of how I wanted the track to go out around the turntable. The turntable has a 42-inch diameter because that's my longest locomotive, is just under 42. So I need a turntable bridge that's 42 inches if I'm going to accommodate all of my locomotives. So with a 42-inch turntable, I need to lay in a track that goes around the back of the turntable over to the yards, the Chama yards. Now originally I thought I was going to have an ever so slight curvature right here to get the center of the turntable to line up with the track that comes off the switch where it comes through the tunnel portal over there. But as it happens, I can align the switch with the center of the turntable, completely eliminating this little bit of curvature. So that's one of the great advantages of designing things with the computer. It's really easy to just sort of move things around to see if you can't do something like, in this case, getting rid of that little curve. So next up, I needed to come up with a very accurate layout here showing the exact dimensions of the background cove and the position of the turntable and size of the turntable. The turntable is going to be mounted in a 4x4 foot frame that will be about 4.5 inches thick, something like that, so that it can accommodate the turntable pit. And it will be in this exact location right here. So all of this needs to be very accurately planned out now to see how these curves are going to fit. You can see that I've also eliminated this little curve in the lead up to the turntable pit by simply moving things around ever so slightly, and it got rid of that curvature. I like this a lot more, just a straight in shot to the turntable. Moreover, now with this lovely little straight piece of track, I want to put an ash pit right here where the curve used to be. That opens up a possibility to model a really lovely ash pit here on the lead up to the turntable. So here I've drawn the track in red to distinguish it from the edges of the layout in the turntable and so on. And I've added in that track that goes around behind the turntable and over to the yard lead. And this is how I had it originally thought out, and I'd done it this way to avoid running the tracks over that frame that holds the turntable. But that's actually pretty arbitrary. I can build in a lot more space behind the track over here by simply running the track partway over the turntable frame. No reason why not. And this gives me a lot more space back here between the lead over to the yard and the backdrop. I've got a coaling tower and a sand house that go back there, and by doing this I can move those two structures a little bit further over to the right, and that gives me enough space on the far left for a water tank, a water tower over there. So gee, score, this is going to work out much better. The only downside is that I'd already laid the track back where it goes behind the non-existent turntable. And so because I've made this change, I've got to tear out a little short section of track back there. The upside being this gives me this little bit of abandoned roadbed here that I'll use somewhere for something because it looks really cool. I'm using this fiber sound deadening board that we mentioned on Sunday's show as a roadbed underneath all of the track. And so you can see right here where I've just extended that over the turntable pit area where the frame will go in there for that. I simply have to make an accommodation when I'm building the frame for this little overhang. And I'll just lay the track directly on the overhang for now, knowing that the turntable frame will go underneath it at some point. And so now to cover over all of the bench work with this soundboard, and then take the computer design and transfer that to the soundboard, drawing out on there exactly where the tracks will go, and that way I can start setting ties in place. Now, as I mentioned before, there used to be products you could buy that were templates, or you could have templates routed out using a CNC router. But what I'm going to do, and what I've done in the past, is simply use track components that I already have and lay those in place and use those as a guide to exactly where the track will need to go. So I've set in place here an older Yagas Creek number 6 left-hand switch. This used to be outside on the railroad, and we replaced it with a new one. Mike is making much better ones now, and so we ordered new ones from Mike at Yagas Creek. And so these are just sort of surplus at this point, so I'm using that as a template, a guide for exactly where the track will be and exactly where I need to set my ties. I also have some old straight pieces of track. Some are LGB, some are just leftovers from the outside part of the railroad. And then I also have some LGB 1600 curved sections, which I'll use to establish my curvatures. If some clever individual out there who has a laser cutter of a good size, or a CNC router or whatever, that'd be a great product to have, would be templates to use instead of using pieces of track section like this. It'd be nice to have a template that has the exact width between the two rails that you could simply set in place and then mark exactly where the rails are going to be directly on your roadbed. It would also be nice if it had the exact right gauge. You could set it down into a piece of flex track and use that to establish curvatures when you're laying flex track. I wish such a product existed, hint, hint. At any rate, I used pieces of sectional track to establish exactly the curvatures and exactly where the straight track needed to go. And then I was able to mark that in place with a Sharpie so that I know exactly where the track is going to go. One of the tricks I like to do is to put the sectional track in place upside down so that the rails are directly in contact with the soundboard, and then I can run my Sharpie along the edge of the rail to indicate exactly where the outer edge of the rail needs to be placed. As always, I make a fair number of mistakes, and so if I get a line on there in the wrong place, there's no erasing it. So I just put dashes through it like here, like this, to indicate, oops, this is not an accurate line, ignore this. And then once I knew where the track was going to go exactly, I was able to position my coaling tower and sand house. Again, it's now further over to the right than it used to be, which is wonderful because it's giving me some more space. and I'm keeping my track 4 inches away from any obstructions. 8 inches on center is what I use for my spacing here, so 4 inches from the center of the track to the nearest obstruction. The coaling tower and sandhouse set on this particle board base, and then that is roughly the same thickness as the soundboard, and so it recesses neatly down into the soundboard, becoming more or less flush with the track level. The loading track back there is unfortunately just a dummy track. There was just not enough space. When you're working in these large scales, you just never have enough space. And so that's just a dummy track. It's just there for appearance. It sort of disappears into the backdrop. Moreover, it's back behind the sandhouse, so you really don't see where it runs into the backdrop. Now, because I changed the angle on the track in front of the coaling tower, that changes the entire angle of the coaling tower and sandhouse, and so that's opened up a small gap here at the back where the base should be tied up against the backdrop, but it no longer is. So I'm just going to work up a little filler. Again, it wouldn't really matter that much because you can't see it because it's behind the sandhouse, but I would know it's there, and so I want to patch that in. But I'm now ready to set my ties in place and actually start spiking down some rail. But before I start spiking anything down, there's a lot of other things that need to be done. I need to cast up a few hundred tie plates for one thing. I'm completely out of tie plates. And I need to build an ash pit because I decided that it'd be fun to have an ash pit right here. And all of that, of course, is future shows. The number one thing I wanted to talk about today is working out these details here in a CAD program and then figuring out some way to transfer the CAD program onto the actual bench work so that I could start putting track in place. There's certainly a lot of other systems for transferring your track plan onto your actual bench work and roadbed. This is just a system I use, basically using templates, and since I don't have proper templates, if you will, I'm simply using sectional track as a template, and that works. But there's certainly a lot of other systems for transferring your track plan from the computer onto the bench work. So as you can see, we certainly have a lot of future shows coming up here, and you wouldn't want to miss any of that. So if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and you can do that by clicking on the upcoming blue button. Zoink, right there, the blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and Karen and I will see you here on Sunday. We'll see you then, and bye-bye.